Hi, everybody. So we're continuing our Shabbos Shir, our, I would call it the Shabbos Agadita series, because it's been a few dapim to do the Agadita. So yesterday we learned about all the beautiful qualities of Shabbos. Today we're going to have a Shir that's a little bit sadder, and that's about why Yerushalayim was destroyed. We're going to go from Shabbos into reasons, 8 different reasons why there was Churban Abayis, so we know what to do in order to fix it. This year's Leilu Nishmas, my father, Menachem Ben Akiva, Us Bas Shalom, Sol Bas Moshe, Le'refuas Chana Bas Shoshana, Le'refuas Rochel Bas Shoshana, Latzlochas, everybody here in Kilas Me'am Loez in Bes Shemesh. And yeah, Amar Vida Breda of Shmuel. Amar Vida Breda of Shmuel, Mishmei de Rav. אין הדלקה מצויה, אלא במוקם שיש boy chilul Shabbos. Dleika, fire, only occurs in a place where chilul Shabbos takes place. It's mida keneged mida, Shabbos, chilul Shabbos, and dleika. Maharsha says that dleika is total destruction. It's the strongest destruction, like we saw in the parsha in Sodom. And chilul Shabbos, lo aleinu, brings you the ultimate destruction. We can possibly compare it, I think, to what we said yesterday. No? What do you think? We saw yesterday that Shabbos keeps the world going. In other words, every Shabbos you keep re-energizes and brings the world more power. You don't keep Shabbos, you are really destroying the world. So maybe the destruction is connected destruction. Also, interestingly enough, the only malacha that's clearly mefurish in the Torah is lo sevaru esh. Don't light fire. So, for whichever reason, fire is what symbolizes Chilul Shabbos. Yet there's no other malacha that's mentioned. Maybe Charisha v'Ktzira, it's machloikis if it refers to Shabbos or to Shvi'is. But basically, it's interesting. So, something in fire, we have to discover more, obviously. But Shabbos to do with fire, you light fire, or do anything else symbolizes by biur esh, havos esh, so chalila, fire would come. Yeah. I want to tell you a story. I so really don't like it when people stop like Cheshbon Shemayim, Hashem did this because of that. I mean, we're not in the darga to know that. The Gemara can say it, or real Gedolim, but not us. It's interesting that when I was a young Avrech, when I was in my 20s, there was a very big, very tragic fire in a certain moshav, and somebody who lives nearby, another Avrech, he said that moshav was like a Lo Aleinu, a pioneer in Chilul Shabbos. Like they open things on Shabbos for entertainment more than any other place. So I'm not saying this, but it's interesting. There was big fire, was in the news, like people, houses completely destroyed somewhere around Yerushalayim. I don't want to say names. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, it's I'm not the one to say it, but we see the Gemara making the connection. Weiter. So let's go. Let's see what's the remedy. So, first of all, what's the source? Shenema, if you don't listen to me to sanctify the day of the Sabbath, masa, not carrying loads. If you do chilul Shabbos, v'tzati esh b'shoreh, I will ignite, I will set fire in b'shoreh, in the gates of the city, v'ochlar manois Yerushalayim. You will consume the palaces of Yerushalayim, v'loi tichbe, and the fire will never go out. My v'loi tichbe, what do you mean? The fire will never ever go out. Fire does extinguish at some point. When people are not available to extinguish the fire, which says Rashi on Shabbos. Interesting. So maybe fire on Shabbos is more mida keneged mida keneged that. I'm not sure why Bnei Adam not mitzvah in the Chabois, because you are allowed to extinguish the fire on Shabbos, right? Maybe not as much. Maybe there are limitations. You can't save everything. The truth is, what I just said now is me'ikar din, not true. In other words, you're only allowed to put out fire when there is sakonas nefashos. And today, I'm very programmed to think like today. Today, even if there's fire in an empty apartment, flat, whatever it's called, or a house, So you're supposed to put out the fire because the electricity system and the water system connects one house to the other. And there's likelihood that the other houses will also burn. But still, but me'ikar din halachically, if you live in a house that it's really, just one lonely house, little house, in the middle of nowhere, no other houses around, or even in town, but disconnected somehow, not part of the system, and everyone's out of the house. You're not supposed to put it out. So Lamaisa, it's true. Yeah, if someone's house, Mchal Shabbos, and his house will burn on Shabbos, he goes out, and nobody's allowed to put it out. It's true. Lo Aleinu, shouldn't happen. Omar Abaye, I told you we're going to learn about Churban Abayis. So whenever you talk about Churban Abayis, people say Sinas Chinam, right? That's what people say. Why did Beis Hamikdash, even Chilonim, they know that. Why was Beis Hamikdash destroyed? Sinas Chinam. And it's true. But now we're going to see no less than 8 different reasons why Yerushalayim was destroyed, and we're going to actually see that they're all true. Amar Abaye, Lechol Yerushalayim Ela b'shvil shechilu bo es Shabbos. Yeah, obviously on the heels of what we said before, Yerushalayim was only destroyed because there was Chilul Shabbos done in Yerushalayim. Shneimar, as it says, u'mishabsoi sa'elimu einehem, they ignore my Shabbosos, right? Lehali mind, they turn a blind eye on purpose, right? They ignore concept of Shabbos. The ochel besoichom, ochel is chilul, says Rashi there. Achel, I will basically remove my kedusha, right? I will create a chol instead of kodesh. I will unsanctify the city amongst them. They don't keep my Shabbos. I too, they're mechalel Shabbos. I will be mechalel them. What's cholol? Space. Chilul Hashem. You create a space as if Hashem is not there. Hashem says, I will not be there because chol and cholol, I'll remove myself from them and it will all be empty and unholy. And that's the Churban. Amar Biabo says Rabbi Abo, reason number 2. Amar Biabo, L'chol Yerushalayim, ele b'shvil shebitlu krishma, shachris ve'arvis. The reason why Yerushalayim was destroyed is because they they annulled, they did not keep, they did not fulfill the mitzvah of Krishma, morning and night. Shneimar, as it says, Hoy mashkim beboiker shecher yodoifu. It says in the pasuk, oh, woe to you, those wake up in the morning. What's the first thing you look for in the morning? Shecher yodoifu. Right? In the morning, you look for what? The wine, the beer. They go to the bar, to the pub. They drink instead of saying Krishma. Yeah, they eat for too long and they drink. They get shaker right away. Yeah, and instead of, as we're going to see later, we'll also negate Krishma. And by the way, the pasuk continues. Also, it says, "Me'achre beneshef yain idloiku." Also at night, neshef is night. Those who also stay at night too long drinking, uksiv. What else do they do? Those people who drink in the morning and drink at night, uksiv. It says, "V'hoyo kinor v'nevel toif v'chalil." 4 different types of instruments. They love music all the time. Party, drinking, music. Let's party. Kinoir, the violin, nevel, harp, toif, drum, chalil is the flute, the yain mishteim, and again wine, music and wine. The spoil Hashem lo yabitu, ay. They do not contemplate, they don't look at the poyal, the actions of Hashem. Says the Maharshal, that's the point of not saying Krishma. Krishma is when you connect Hashem with everything else. They have such good lives, parties and drinking, but they're not connecting it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's much like the Western world today. They're all into fun, without looking beyond what's beyond this, all this beauty. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the world. Shema Yisrael Hashem Hashem Echad, everything, the upper worlds and 8, this world, and 7 upper worlds are all from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All Hashem is all there everywhere. That's Achdus Hashem, and they're disconnecting Hashem from the world by lo yabitu, not looking deeper to see that Hashem is behind it all. Uksiv, lachen gola ami mibli das. That's why my nation, that's why they went to exile, mibli das. Very nice. They don't know Hashem. Now, I thought of an idea. Das, chokhmah bir das. Das is chibur, connection. They're not connecting Hashem to the story. They have very nice lives, so to speak, but they're not connecting Hashem to the story. Could be very, whatever, fun-loving, very educated maybe, but they leave Hashem out of the picture. That's a mistake. And then what happens? Golus. Because of that, the Golus come. Bli das. I want to make something, I want to make a point now, because as I said, there are 8 different opinions. The Maharshal says we're going to see 8 different Amaroim, each one saying a different reason. Are they arguing? Are they saying Yerushalayim was only chorv because of Chil Shabbos? The other one says because of lack of Krishma. Says Marsha, no. It doesn't say Rav Himnuna Omar or Abai Omar. It says Omar Biabo, which everybody who learns Gemara knows it's not a machloikis. Machloikis means Abai Omar, and then Biabo, when the name of the Amoira is before the Omar, that's disagreeing with the previous opinion. This is not what's going on here. It doesn't say Biabo Omar. No, it says Omar Biabo. It's a separate statement because they're all right. Could be that each one believes that was a primary reason. But really, all 8 reasons exist. Each Amar is pointing out to his star reason, so to speak. Yeah? So now, the Maharsha also says something interesting, that each Avera is connected to another day of the week. Wow. And he doesn't really go into details, but he says that the first Avera is Shabbos. You're starting with Shabbos. The second one is missing Krishma. He says missing Krishma is more common on Sunday. You go to sleep late once it's Shabbos, you wake up late Sunday, and you miss Krishma. The Marshal, he knows the Yeshiva Bachrim. Omar Avimnuna, opinion number 3. Omar Avimnuna, Lo Yichov Yerushalayim, Ela B'Shvil Shebitlu Batinokos Shel Beis Rabban, not the Bittul Torah, Bittul of the Tinokos Beis Rabban. They did not make sure that children go to Cheder. Sorry. Shene'emar, it says, Shfoich al oilal b'chutz. Shfoich, spill what? Hashem spills his anger, his wrath, because of the oilal. Is Hashem spilling his wrath on the babies? No, oilal b'chutz. The baby, the kid, not the baby, the toddler, the young kid. That's b'chutz. What does it mean? Ma tam shfoich mishum oilal b'chutz. Because the oilal b'chutz. Why is Hashem so angry and he spills his anger on everybody? Because the oilal, because the young boy is outside instead of going to Cheder. In other words, Hashem is angry with the parents. Hashem is angry with the parents that they don't make sure that the child actually goes to school properly. He goes, he mucks around, he walks around the streets, starts working in a shop and this and that, and they don't realize, and they have to know what the child is doing and be in control. Yeah. And if not, lo leinu, that causes churban abayis, causes a destruction. It's bittul Torah of the worst form. If he's not going to learn, you're raising an amoritz, tachiyuv, to teach your child. Omar Ula. Yeah, you have Omar Ula. Where are we? I think opinion number 4. Omar Ula. Lo yichov Yerushalayim el mipnei shelo yolem boishes ponim zeh mizeh. The reason why Yerushalayim was destroyed, because they had no shame from each other. Yeah, they sinned and did not feel even any embarrassment from each other. Shenemar oivishu kitoeva osu gabosh lo yevoishu. Oivishu. Yeah, they should be ashamed. Kitoeva osu. They should be ashamed, says the Novi, for doing toeva, all kinds of toeva, eshetish, mishkov zochu, all these things. But no, bosh lo yevoishu. They should, but they're not. They surely are not misbayesh. Remember what we saw the Gemara around Daf Samech Gimel Samech Dalin. The Gemara said over there that the mamish were lo leinu, like today. What did they do? They would have relations with an Eshes Ish and be proud of it and even talk about it. Ad kedei kach. Yeah, it says all Gemara. Yeah. Ad kedei kach, they had like a mentality, a whole culture of like today, a whole culture of znus. And because of that, Hashem can't take it anymore. I'm sorry, and he destroyed Yerushalayim. Omar Bitzchak, I lost count. I think we're number 5. Omar Bitzchak, Lo yichov Yerushalayim el b'shvil shehushvu koton v'godol. Democracy, liberalism, so nice, so loving everybody. The hushvu koton v'godol, they equalized, they compared and equalized the small one and the big one. Yeah, there were no differences between the rabbi and the child and the clergy. Everyone's the same. Shene'emar v'hoyu ke'am kikohen. The nation, Am, always means, if you look at the Meforshim of Tanakh, Am, as opposed to Ada, let's say, for example, Am always means the nation in its lowest form. Amcha, like today's Hebrew, Amcha, like the simple people. There's the simple people in the Kohen who's supposed to be an authority to teach people. What happens to them? No, we're all equal, all human beings born equal. No, we're not born. Maybe born equal. If that's not true, by the way, because Koyanim are born to Koyanim and we're not. Yeah, so that's not true. This kind of approach is very with it, but very out of it. It causes churban. Uksiv basrei. What does it cause? Hiboik tiboik haaretz. Hiboik tiboik. This is not. Oh, you have another little gem for you. You like? Huh? Hiboik tiboik haaretz. I had no idea what's hiboik tiboik. I saw on the side with the meforshim they say it will be empty. The land will be empty. Yeah, yeah. Mevuka mevulaka apparently is emptiness. I thought it means mess, but it says no emptiness. So now, why is mida connected mida? What does it mean when you say that no, everyone's equal and the Chvesam Shnuk of 15 years old has no idea what he's doing or what he's thinking? He's as intelligent and as smart and can debate with the biggest rabbi. What are you saying? We're saying this shtus. So you empty the rabbi or the leader from his leadership. You show how little you machshiv the godel. If you think that the kotel and gadol are the same, well, obviously you don't think the little child he has, the darga of a gadol. You're bringing the gadol down to your darga. You're emptying the great people from the greatness. You are not machshiv, what you should be machshiv. Yeah, life is all about what you're machshiv. What do you make important, right? Why do you go to the Levi of a gadol? Why do you close the Gemara and go to the Levi of Rav Steinman, let's say Rav Avadia, to show that you mechabed the Torah? You show I'm machshiv, I consider as important, I give importance to Torah. If you don't give importance to the right things, you remain empty. Then Hashem says, you want emptiness? Then the land will be empty and you'll be, excuse my language, kicked out. You're emptying the values. Omar of Amram, next please, one more reason. There he said, this is not stam to be negative. All this is written here, so we know not to repeat those mistakes. Omar of Amram, Omar Shimon Barabba. Omar Shimon Barabba, Omar Bichanina. Lo chol Yerushalayim, ela b'shvil shlo hochichu zeh et zeh. That never rebuked. They never told off to each other. There's a mitzvah, and people would not tell each other off when necessary. Shenema, it says, Hoyu Soreh, this is in Eicha, every Tisha B'Av, we sadly read that. Hoyu Soreh ki hayolim, lo imotzu mir'eh. The Solim, the great important people, the ministers, it says the Kelim, they were like rams. They were like the ram, like the male sheep. Lo imotzu mir'eh, they did not find a place to graze. Why dafka iolim? You want to tell me they're like animals, right? Without the pasture. Why ayolim? Why dafka sheep? Why not cows or giraffes? So, I don't know. Zok the Gemore. You know what Rabbi Chanina says? Ma ayin, just like the rams, the female sheep, ze roishe shozeh betzad znava shozeh. In other words, the head of what they tend to look down, as they walk together, they look down. You see sheep, right? The heads usually are down, and the head of one of them is next to the tail of the other one. Instead of looking towards what's going on around me, they are like what today we say ostriches. They put their heads down. So to Israel of that generation of the Churban, kovshu pnei bakarka, they basically hid their face in the ground. They did not rebuke each other. In other words, each one, basically, like the Maharsha says, he had like his own daladamas. I have my head is in my ground. In my house, I'm okay. I have my life, I have my things, and that's it. And I'm okay, I'm a good Jew. But you see that other people are behaving terribly. Don't you tell them something? No, they wouldn't. That's a punishment. The Maharsha says that this, by the way, does not talk about regular people. And in a way, it continues a little bit the previous statement. We spoke before about the fact that the authority of the Chachamim was basically undermined, was vacuumed. Why? because people didn't care about the Chachamim. They equalized them. In a way, it was the fault of the Chachamim. The Chachamim would not rebuke each other. Ze et ze soreh. In other words, even if they would try to rebuke the small people, but Chachamim would not tell each other off. So people would have the feeling they're not criticizing themselves. Yeah? One Chacham would not tell the other, hey, mister, what you're doing is wrong. So the whole system was corrupt, starting from the top, starting from above. And that's how the Churban actually took place. Next, please. Right? We're in the same direction. They would despise and insult the Talmidei Chachomim. People would just will downright be nasty and mechutzaf to Talmidei Chachomim. Sheneemar, it says, "Vayu mal'ivim b'malochei Elokim." They would insult the Malochei Elokim, uboizim dvorov, and they would despise and belittle the words of Hashem, umetateim b'neviim, and they would metateim would like the tatea in this week's parsha. Yeah. Yaakov tells Rivka, yeah, Ulai Musheni Ovi, Vaisi Benav Kimetatea, liar. The tatea is like to lie in a way that confuses the other person, to mystify, mislead, yeah? Yeah, like a trick, to, trick the other person. So they would trick and lie to the Nevi'im, Ad Alois Chamas Hashem Ba'amoy, Ad Lein Malpeh, until Hashem's anger would really rise, until there was no remedy. No remedy. So those who would insult, who's Malach Elokim? There are Malachim are not Malachim Dafka with wings. Malach Elokim could be the Shlichim of Hashem. Talmidei Chachamim. Yeah, Talmidei Chachamim, Nevim, the leaders, they would lie to them, they would despise them, they wouldn't care about what the Chachamim say. Even Mal'ivim, insult them in public, talking Keneged Talmidei Chachamim. So the punishment is very severe, Ad Le'ein Malpeh. Yeah, the punishment would be, with no remedy. My adlein malpe. Exactly what do you mean when you say there was no healing, no remedy to the person who insults a Talmid Chacham? Well, yes, sadly so. Omar Vida Omar Rav, yes. Kol mevaze Talmid Chacham, ein lo refuah lo makosoi. Whoever is mevaze, whoever despises, insults, speaks badly in a rude way against the Talmid Chacham, he has no refuah l'makosai. He has no remedy to his ailment, to his sickness. What does it mean? What does it really mean? There are a few meanings. The Pasha Pshat, maybe Hashem will bring him a makkah and he will just never heal. Until there is hope, and then I'll talk about later, until he asks Mechila from Talmid Chacham. I opened Shulchan Aruch. There is an English, but here, what does Shulchan Aruch say? Shulchan Aruch doesn't give you muster; it tells you halachas. So Shulchan Aruch says the person who insulted the Talmid Chacham, mamish mevaze, gave bizoin to the Talmid Chacham, then you have to put him in cherem until he says he's sorry, and until he's really asking mechila seriously from Talmid Chacham, you have to put him in cherem, and that's no refuah. In other words, the cherem will go forever. If you don't ask mechila from Talmid Chacham, then for 50 years he'll be in cherem. If he can survive, it's very hard to be in cherem. That's ein lo refuah. Another pshat I saw, I'm so bad with quoting, I don't remember who says it. I saw many sources, forget who says what, I'm sorry. The other source says something very interesting. What's ein lo refuah l'makosoi? Let's say the person, this is also a nice idea, let's say the person has a spiritual makkah. He has a spiritual blemish, a spiritual issue. We all do, nobody's perfect. If you accept the Talmid Chacham as an authority, you have the refuah. Listen to the Chacham. But you think you're smarter than the Chacham and the Novi and the Lokim and everything, you never have refuah. Because they're not looking to improve. That rabbi is not going to tell me what to do, and then the other way. So then you remain with your own little world of trouble, of spiritual disadvantages, and you stay stuck in the rut. Simply, it's not even a punishment, it's a result. And I'll listen to the Chacham, so finished. So you're staying with your shtuyot your whole life. So far we saw 7 reasons. We're going to see another one. It says, Al tigu b'mshichai u'b'nvi'ai al toreu. Yeah? Don't touch, meaning don't touch as don't damage my mishichim. How many mishichim are there? U'b'nvi'ai al toreu. Yeah? Don't cause bad Yeah, don't do anything bad to my nevim, to my prophets. What does it mean? Says the Maal Shor, what do you mean not to touch the Mashiach? Mashiach will be invincible. So if you're talking about not doing anything bad to Mashiach, yeah, Mashiach, I'm not talking Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David, yeah, he'll win against everybody else. He's the ace card. So what do you mean don't do anything to him? Must be Mashiach means somebody else. Tinokus shel Esraban. Tinokus shel Esraban, they're called Mashiachim. Why? Rashi says a very simple reason, very technical reason. Says Rashi, young babies not young babies, young children who learn Torah, they are called Mashiachim because it was accepted back then to anoint little children with oil, like for beauty. Maybe like today they have gel in the hair, in the payas, I don't know. But maybe. So Lamaisa, the Tinuk Shel Besraban is Mashuach. Lamaisa, you could say another idea. Mashuach means like you have high expectations for a future for him, like Mashuach Milchom, a Kohen. Who is Mashuach? Also a Kohen. Kohen is not Mashiach ben David. That's not true. But the Kohen, the first day, you do Mashiach, Kohen Gadol, right? So too, a little child is Mashuach, like we aspire, is a young kid that we're Moishachim to be something greater. Uben vi'ai al toreu, don't harm my nevim, elo talmid chachomim. Although we say chacham odif minovi, right? But a novi has to be a talmid chacham too. There's a common denominator between novi and a chacham in many places. The both are people who learn Dvar Hashem, one through nevuah, one from below. But lemaisa, nevim and talmid chachomim have things in common. And in this case, the pasuk when it talks about nevim also means talmid chachomim. They are the equivalent to nevim when we don't have nevuah anymore. So don't do anything bad to them, and if you do, that's bad luck, that's bad news. Omar Shlakish Mishum Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya. The Shlakish is quoting Rabbi Yehuda Anosi, and he says, "En oilam." That's a famous one. En oilam iskayim ela b'shvil hevel tinokus v'saban. The world exists only by the merit of the breath of the mouth of the children who study by Beis Rabban. By the way, something very nice. So again, I think it's Marsha. Why are they called all the time Tinokus Beis Rabban? Why Tinokus Achachomim, Tinokus Cheder, Tinokus I don't know, sweet little Kinderlach. Beis Rabban, because the Tinok has to be in the system in the house, as opposed to Tinok B'chutz that's before. A kid can't just learn at home and learn here and learn there and learn from life. We have all kinds of modern systems today. A kid has to be in a Beis Rabban. He has to be in an organized system indoors and learn there, in the bais of the Rav, the bais of the Rebbe, not stam running around from one Rebbe to the other, or not in an organized way. That's it's Beis Rabban. Omerle Rav Papa Abaye. Now Rav Papa is asking Abaye, with all due respect to the little children, Didi v'didach mai. What about you and me? We are Maroim, Why are you telling me that the world stands on the breath of the mouth of the little kids? That's really nice and cute when you see them going to Kit Aleph. Isn't our Torah also worth it, right? Omerle. So Abai responded very strongly, which means, this is now very nice. We didn't say the words of Torah. Of course, the Amoraim know much more Torah than little kids. We speak about the air that they breathe, meaning, what's the air? Air is something pure. Air, it's pure, hopefully, unless it's polluted, yeah? So, the hevel sheyesh bochet, the breath of our mouth, meaning our neshama, is not so pure because we sinned. Adults, by record, sin more than children. They've accumulated more averas. So their hevel is not as pure as the hevel of the little kids, who's purer, meaning it's not just the Torah, it's the atmosphere they learn and their purity is much greater than the one of the even greater Talmidei Chachamim, because although the greater Talmidei Chachamim, the level of Torah is way above, but the purity of the kids, like the breath, like the fresh breath of the mouth, is greater than the big ones. Says the Chofetz Chaim. From me, I just remembered from I learned it a few years ago. Says Chofetz Chaim. From here, we see the power of Lashon Hara, or the destructive power of Lashon Hara versus the good power of Shmiras HaLashon. Kids don't speak as much Lashon Hara, and even if they do, they didn't accumulate as much Lashon Hara as we. right? How much it is 5 years old already? How much did he speak already? And by the way, usually they don't speak against each other. They punch the other kid in the face, but they don't talk about him in the phone. Like a yachne, right? So therefore, the kids are, with lashon hara wise, they are winners and we are losers. So mitzat shmir saloshan, their Torah is purer because the Chafetz Chaim is big into saying your Torah, when you speak lashon hara, your Torah is impure. So you have more Torah, more level, but every word of Gemara is not so pure because with the same mouth, you spoke lashon hara. Bad news. So that shows us that we have to aspire to be like the little children. Mitzat shmir saloshan. The Omar Shlakish Mushum Rabbi Yehuda Nisia. Yeah. Another statement of Shlakish quoting Rabbi Yehuda Anosi. Ein mevatlin. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are daf. Which daf are we in? Kuf Yutes, right? Kuf Yutes. 6 lines from the bottom of the page. Mishum Rabbi Yehuda Nisia. Ein mevatlin tinokus shebesaban. Afil albina beis hamikdash. Upa. Did you hear that? You should not cancel school for children. The young children should not stop studying in Cheder, Torah, even in order to build Beis Hamikdash. Wow, right? The world stands by the Hevel PM Shel Tinokosh Basaban. You don't just give them a day off for no good reason. And which better reason is being in Beis Hamikdash? Imagine yourself, Beis Hamikdash will come down. According to Tosfos, in one place, we will still have to do the touch-ups of Beis Hamikdash. So you call the kids from Cheder, kids, come, let's build Beis Hamikdash. We're waiting for this thing for billions of years. We say, no, they should stay in Cheder. Stay in Cheder, right? Across from Park Yarmut, right? Stay there in Cheder and learn, there, and do your Mishnah, your Chumash, and the other people will build Beis Hamikdash. Unbelievable. Halacha l'maisa. So that's the right thing. But apparently not. I saw Shulchan Aruch says, first of all, Shulchan Aruch brings that down. Unbelievable. Shulchan Aruch in Beis Hamikdash. And the other thing Shulchan Aruch says, when it comes to tzedakah, so we don't have Beis Hamikdash, unfortunately, but we have shul. He says to give money for a school for Talmud Torah, so children can learn, is greater than giving money to a shul. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Pesach Halacha, so ask your Rav, but this sounds like that's enough to me. That's ain't that. Yeah, the children learning Torah is more than Beis Hamikdash and more than us davening in shul. V'amar Shlakish l'Rabbi Yehuda Nisia. Shlakish, he lived in Eretz Yisrael, one of the early Amoyim. He had the zchus to talk to Rabbi Yehuda Anosi, and he said, "Kach mikublani me'avoisai." Yes, says Shlakish, I have accepted this. I've received that tradition from my fathers. Says Shlakish, "V'amrilo me'avoisecho." Some people say that Shlakish told Rabbi Yehuda Anosi, your fathers have that tradition. By the way, I want to point out, you see what's happening here? The Shlakish is about to quote his voice of. I thought Rish Lakish is the ultimate Baal Tshuva. He was a gangster and he became frum at some age. Well, Tosfos in Bava Metzia, pay something in a few places, Tosfos says, I think pay Dalet pay, Tosfos says, no, Rish Lakish was son of Talmidei Chachamim, went off the derech and came back big time. With Rabbi Yochanan, there's always hope. So basically, that's the story. It says, I remember from my first round, that my fathers used to tell me. What did they tell him? Kol ir shen b'tinokos shel beisaban machribin oisa. Opa. Kol ir, a city she'en b'tinokos shel beisaban, a city that doesn't have a school system for children. When I say school, I mean cheder. You destroy that city. Machribin oisa. Wow. And soon I'm going to explain more. Ravina Omar machrimin oisa. Ravina says you don't destroy it. Machrimin oisa. You put them in cherem. Now, there are two explanations here. Rashi says that machrimin doesn't mean cherem. Machrimin lekashiu doesn't mean you excommunicate them. Machrimin means that you actually just destroy them completely. Machrimin charam. There's no, you destruct them, destroy them, and leave nothing. Machribin, you destroy and you leave a little bit. Machrimin, you destroy it down to, you ground the city. Unbelievable. I think I made a mistake. I don't know if Shulchan Aruch says about, no, he does actually. No, he does. Yeah, I saw it now. Shulchan Aruch says this, Shulchan Aruch brings down that la'alocha. And he says like this. Machrivin and Machrimin are really both true, says Shulchan Aruch. And I think the Rambam says the same, and so to another Rishonim. First of all, you see there's a city, there is a nice spa, and maybe a shul, and a mikveh for ladies, very mahudar. And you have whatever you want, and you have a caterer, and you have a vadat tznius, whatever you have there, but there's no cheder. There's even kupat cholim, all four types. But that was the first one. Right? Every new shchuna, what's the first thing you see? Kupat cholim. But there's no cheder in town. What are you supposed to do? And you talk to them and they say, we don't need a cheder. Don't tell us what to do. Don't tell us what to do. Exactly. We're young guys and we don't think our kids have to go to cheder. They'll go to some, I don't know, bet sefer or something else. I don't know. So what do? If you have a Torah authority, first you put them in cherem and you just don't, and you excommunicate that community. And if that doesn't work, says Shulchan Aruch Machrivin. I don't know what he means. No, Machrimin first is cherem, not like Rashi. Machrimin is cherem, and if that doesn't work, they remain in the stubbornness. Then you Machrimin, you take a bulldozer and destroy the project and the park and the shopping center. He doesn't give me this whole description, but that's what Shulchan Aruch says, whatever it means. Yeah, why. So I'll tell you something. I mean, what do you mean why? Obviously, because these people are destroying the nation. You're raising a generation of Amalatzim. You can't allow that to happen. They have to have a cheder. They have to have a school where they learn Torah. Yeah, you want to say something? Yeah, but say there now. Okay, I have something else to say, but okay, let's continue for now. Vomarove. Now comes the last one. Bam bam bam. Here comes the last reason. Yerushalayim was destroyed only because posku Himena Anshe Amona, which means there were no trustworthy people anymore. There were no people who are believed, who are trustworthy, who are credible, who have credit. No such thing anymore in Yerushalayim, and that's why it was destroyed. Shene'emar, it says, yeah, we're a little bit short for time. I'm sorry. Shoited b'chotzes Yerushalayim. The Navi says, go ahead. You should roam the streets of Yerushalayim, says Yirmiyahu. You should walk around Yerushalayim city. Vereuna ud'u, look, search and see. Ubakshu b'chovaseh, look and search the streets. Im timtziu ish oisem mishpat mevakesh emuna. If you find one person who does justice, mevakesh emuna, who's looking. Now we think emuna is faith, which is true. Emuna also means emun, trust. Yeah, there's nobody there who's looking even to be trustworthy. Everyone's liars. Nobody's truthful. And if you find one person, Veslachlo, like Sdom. Sdom is 10 people, yeah? Even if you find one person who is a real trustworthy, MSD, a true guy, Eslachlo, I'll forgive that city and will not destroy. So if the city was destroyed, lo leinu, mashma, not even one person was really MSD. Is that so? Rav Ktina says, even in the time of Yerushalayim's failure, even in the times when Yerushalayim failed, even then Anshe Amona were still there. They didn't stop. They were still trustworthy people. Shneimar, it says in the pasuk, Ki itpos ish b'ochiv beis oviv simlo lecho katzin tielonu, which means the pasuk says something very interesting. A man would grab, so to speak, his brother and will tell his brother or his neighbor, his friend, Simlo lecho, if you have a garment, you should be katzin, you should be our leader. What? What do you mean? What does that mean? In other words, he will tell him, if you know Torah and you have those things that other people don't know, there's all kinds of areas in Torah people don't know, and when you ask them, do you know? They cover themselves in a dress, in a garment. They avoid the question. The Talmud feels bad to say, I don't know. Okay, starts whitewashing you, right? If you, says Reuven to Shimon, if you know Torah, then be mekotzin. They actually wanted to have leaders. Continues the pasuk. One man tells his friend, if you have the machshela, if you have the failure, what does it mean? Which means, if you know the Sisrei Torah, some things in the Torah, you can only know it if you failed, says Rashi, 2 or 3 times. Only after you failed again and again, then you're successful, because these are hard parts of the Torah. If you have those Chelke Torah with you, those things that are hard to acquire, then Kotzin Tielonu. I invite you to be our leader, our Kotzin, our rabbi. The other person who's approached with that offer will swear, Yisa, and he will say, Lo yechoivish. I'm not a chovish besa medrash yet, which means the Gemara explains he admits that he doesn't know. In Yerushalayim, a person would be offered a rabbinical job. Can you be our kotzin? And he would say, no, no. Ein yisa loshon shvua. Yeah, he swears. Yisa means to swear. V'chenu omer lo tisa Hashem Hashem Elokecho. Lo yeh chovish. I swear to you, I'm not a chovish. What does it mean? It doesn't mean hatzol or mada. It means lo yeh mechov sha'atzma beis medrash. I'm not one of those who tie themselves to Besmelash. I'm not a Talmid Chacham. You think I'm a Talmid Chacham? I'm not. Ubebesi ein lechem ein simla. I don't have bread. I don't have clothes. Shen bedi lo mikra v'lo mishna v'lo gemara. I really don't know Torah, not chumash, no nothing. Oh, so what do you see? He admits to be an Amaretz, which people mistakenly think Talmid Chacham. So why are you telling me everyone's such liars? Look, they're truthful. They are truthful. That's a question. We're stopping here before the mission because I have to make it to Ma'ariv. Yeah, we are in a cliffhanger. On one hand, we say they used to lie all the time, and everybody was a liar. Here we see they were very emistic, and they would admit, I don't know. It's very hard for a person to, people think to admit he doesn't know. So he said that they were truthful. Were they truthful or not? Thank you to Torah Anytime. Thank you to those who watch us on YouTube. Thank you to my analysts. Thank you everyone who came here. And tomorrow we're starting a new Mishnah. We're finishing that bit that we have, and then we have a whole new Mishnah. Tzlocho Vrocho, amazing. May your Shalai be rebuilt today. Amen.
You went to Shabbos Shir Brachos?